Hello and welcome back to WePC. As of late, the gaming headset market has seen a real influx in budget offerings, giving consumers a massive buying headache when it comes to the lower end of the price spectrum. And today, we'll be taking a closer look at one of the cheapest headsets available in 2020, the Gioteck TX50s. We'll be looking at how they stack up in price, performance, design, and comparing it similarly to other priced alternatives. As always, we'll start with the design. Now, the first thing we noticed when unboxing the TX50s was just how gamey they looked. Shocking, I know, for a gaming headset. And it's got a rubberized finish, which does feel a little bit strange, but having said that, I do prefer this over the more generic plastic feels most budget headsets come with, i.e. the Acer Nitro. A decent amount of cushioning can be found on the ear cups, and the underside of the headband provides a decent level of comfort during long gaming sessions. The microphone is extremely basic. It does offer a lot of flexibility, which is a plus. The cable though is probably the worst part of the design, comprised of a thin rubber material that doesn't feel anywhere near as robust as you like. That leads us nicely onto the overall build quality of this headset, and usually at this price point, build quality is often sacrificed. Having said that, with the TX50s, that doesn't seem to be the case. Whilst the majority of this headset is designed using plastic, the TX50s still feel very robust. Steel has been introduced in both ear cups for added strength, but that is about as far as Gioteck has stretched in terms of reinforcement. The bulky ear cups feel very well connected to the yokes, offering very little wobble or rattle when aggressively shaken. The headband adjustment feature also feels very well designed, providing a stiff mechanism that feels like it could definitely stand the test of time. Now, for the most part, this headset feels pretty well made, especially when you consider the budget price tag that it does come equipped with. If I was being really nitpicky, I'd also say that the TX50 frame doesn't offer as much flexibility as you like. They'd almost definitely snap if bent in the wrong manner. Comfort was a bit hit and miss for me personally. However, there were a few in the office that actually felt that these were quite comfortable. First, let's give credit to the padding used throughout this headset. Whilst the padding isn't anywhere near as comfortable as the memory foam used in more expensive alternatives, it still provided a soft feel during gaming. The headband offered the same level of comfort as the ear cup thanks to a well-positioned cushion found on the underside of the headband. The TX50s also sat nicely on my head thanks to a swivel feature found in the ear cups. Sadly, my ears became very hot very quickly, making the entire experience a little bit sweaty. Furthermore, because the headset cable provided isn't the longest, I felt a little bit restricted as to where I could position myself during gaming. So we've had a look at the design and the build quality. It's now time to put it through some audio performance scenarios to see how it stacks up. I'll not lie, my first impression of the Gioteck TX50s were not what I thought they'd be. I was expecting them to sound utter trash, but that wasn't the case. I started off playing some of my favorite games, and straight away I noticed how bass heavy the sound profile was. I mean, the bass these can provide is up there with anything I've tested. Having said that, how were they for gaming? Because bass doesn't mean better. Well, it's safe to say that immersion was definitely heightened whilst wearing these. Explosions sounded impactful and realistic. AWP shots sounded boomy, as did most weapons. That's when I started to take a closer look at sound as a whole, and unfortunately, the bass was just too overpowering. Everything had a wild bass undertone to it. To accurately pinpoint your gunshots and footsteps, you need your mids and trebles to cut through, something that just wasn't happening. I played a lot of games for a couple of good hours and came away feeling a little bit shaken. The bass is unrelenting in these headphones, and I came to a very similar conclusion when playing a number of other genres. My final impression being, is this much bass really necessary? With that being said, I am a fan of bassy music, and I liked the way that it sounded through this. I loaded up some electronic music, and as expected, the sound was pretty chunky. I played a few trance tunes, and whilst the sound was bassy in the right parts, I just felt the overall sound lacked a little bit in the mids and treble department. As with most budget hardware offerings, at some stage, sacrifices do need to be made to ensure the price doesn't suffer. I feel that the microphone is definitely that area that has had to suffer. It offers an extremely basic microphone that doesn't really have any notable features apart from a swivel of around 60 degrees. As far as recording quality is concerned, it's definitely on the tinny side, and it doesn't really offer any bass or warmth to the recorded sound. It sounds quite harsh on recording, and picked up a decent amount of background noise and breathing during use. It isn't spectacular, but it's easy to use and gives you a portal to communicate with your teammates in game. So there you have it, our full rundown of the Gioteck TX50 gaming headset. Overall, whilst this headset wasn't the greatest thing I've ever used, it was by no means the worst either. As always, links to this product will be in the description below. If you like what you see, I'm not just talking about me, why not consider subscribing to WePC?